Hi, today I'm going to share 9 healthy weight loss tips. I like to encourage everyone to think of weight loss as a mind and body journey because it truly is a whole person experience. When we are trying to change our weight, so many people I know I was in this boat, we get attached to diet and external information. Then we try to follow these rules and plans without including ourselves on the journey, and what I mean by that is we don't understand our habits. We don't know why we're doing them. We don't truly understand what we would need to do to begin to shift and change them, and so we try to follow a diet that doesn't work naturally blindly. So then we end up feeling like a failure, and that's not the case, right? We need to have a little bit of a better strategy, and that's what we want to help you with today, so we are going to be sharing 9 tips that have helped many people throughout the years. Tip number 1, pause, step back and zoom out. Truly, our relationship with food is a reflection of our relationship with ourselves and our relationship with our lives. When we can step back and try to look at the patterns and look at the habits from a larger perspective, it can help us to gain more clarity. So instead of thinking of extra weight as an enemy, trying to think of it as a messenger that it has some information for you. Hence, a question I would like to ask is, if my weight could talk, what would it want me to know? In other words, what can I learn from my body and this extra weight, right? So, for instance, it might communicate to you that you have to take a few things off your plate and slow down. Maybe you have to begin to prioritize yourself. Perhaps you need to start to shift out some of the types of food that you're eating. If you pause and ask this question to yourself, you may be pleasantly surprised at the answers that you already have. Tip number 2, focus on what feels good. You have to focus on what feels good. So many people believe that feeling good is a reward for weight loss. While yes, physically, we can feel better when we get the extra weight off of our body, we do have to find a way to create that better feeling experienced on the journey. And sometimes feeling better doesn't mean that we're always just taking actions that feel good all day long. It means that we are easier on ourselves. It means that we're giving ourselves some grace, we're giving ourselves a little space, we're not resisting and pushing and trying so hard, rather we're just softening up a bit and getting curious and paying attention and noticing so that we can gently begin to move forward. As we create more of that feel-good experience daily, it begins to gain momentum, and when that momentum begins to build, it starts to feel a little bit easier and feels better and better and better. Here is tip number 3, have a game plan. To have some game plan now, intuitive eating has helped me a lot with my weight loss journey. But I am a big believer in having some intentional game plan for your day, because here's the deal: whenever we want to create some change in our lives, we need to take the time to give our brains a little bit of direction. Our brains like to be efficient, they like to do what they did yesterday, they want to rinse and repeat. So when we're trying to create change, it's almost like you're guiding a toddler. You want to say, hey, here's what we're doing today. So take a little bit of time each night before you go to sleep or first thing in the morning when you wake up to create a game plan of what you are going to focus on. Can be extremely helpful, and remember to keep it small and attainable. Maybe it's including more vegetables at certain meals during the day, perhaps it's drinking a certain amount of water, or moving your body in a way that you enjoy. Here is product which I have with water in every morning, and that feels good. Whatever it is, make a decision ahead of time and have a little bit of a game plan for yourself. For you more knowledge, I have dropped the link in the description. Go and check out. Tip number 4, honor your hunger. So many people have become very accustomed to eating according to dietary plans. The clock, it's lunchtime, you name it, right? External cues tell us when it's time to eat. What happens is we become very detached from our natural hunger cues. We don't even know if we're hungry and when we're hungry. We just are going about eating anyway. So taking the time to pause and ask yourself, am I hungry, and waiting for the feedback from your body, can create a big shift in your weight loss journey. Now I know this can seem like an oversimplified idea, but if you haven't been practicing connecting to your natural hunger signals, experiment with it for a few weeks and see whether it makes a difference. It's the most simple tool that can have the most impact, so don't overlook it just because it sounds easy. It's easy in theory, not necessarily in practice. If you want to tag on to the end of that, you can also get into the habit of asking yourself, have I had enough? Halfway through your meal, pause and check in. Have I had enough? Then you can get that feedback from your body, allowing that to be your natural guide. Tip number 5, focus on your habits. Focus on your day-to-day habits is one of my favorite quotes. And I don't remember who said it or where I heard it, is that transformation is a decision, not a destination. So often when we're trying to lose weight, we are so focused on the result and trying to get somewhere that's over there that we are not paying attention to the little tiny decisions we make every single day. The truth is that any big change or any transformation is the accumulation of a whole lot of little bitty choices daily, right? Taking the time to see if you're hungry, having the water, choosing some vegetables, getting some fresh air. Choose any one healthy habit that resonates with you and practice it for 30 to 60 days until it is just something you automatically do. It's just a part of the person that you are. And then, now I know that's not a super sexy strategy because we all are used to the quick fix promises with weight loss. Still, if you're watching this video, you probably know and have been doing that for long enough to see that it doesn't work, and those quick fixes are unrealistic. They're not sustainable, and they don't get us the results we want to get. So again, focus on day-to-day habits rather than only your result. Tip number 6, practice feeling your feelings. Practice learning how to allow and process emotion, because I'm sure many of you can relate to or understand the experience of buffering our feelings with eating food, right? So feelings come up, there's emotions there that we don't know what to do with or we would prefer not to have, and instead of being with that and staying with ourselves in that space, we turn to food as a distraction, and then what happens is maybe we eat a little too much, perhaps we feel full, uncomfortable, and gain a little bit weight. And now we think that we have an overeating problem, and so we want to manage and micromanage our food, when really the cause here has nothing to do with food. It's about learning how to be with and allow our feelings so that we can understand what we're really needing at that time. I often tell my clients that food can only solve for one true problem, and that is physiological hunger. It cannot solve for emotions. So yes, it can distract us from feeling, it can take the edge off, it can offer us a little bit of comfort and or ease, but it can't solve for those emotions. And so the only way to move forward out of that space is to have the willingness to stay with yourself and with your feelings so that you can allow them and identify them and understand what you truly need in that moment to feel cared for and nourished. Tip number 7, celebrate your wins. Get into the habit of celebrating your wins. Again, our brains are designed to look for problems. That's what they do. They want to keep us safe, they want to keep us warm, they want to keep us protected. They're always going to look for what you did wrong throughout the day if you don't help to guide it in a different direction. And so I really want you to get in the practice of reflecting on your day and asking yourself what went well. It could be the littlest, tiniest thing, right? But I want you to bring it to your attention, show it to yourself, show it to your mind, show it to your brain. When it comes to weight loss, most people are in the habit of self-rejection, and what I want to encourage you to do is self-reflection, right? So I don't care what your plan is, right? Whatever game plan you are focusing on for yourself, there will be times when you will fall off track. There will be times when you haven't quite figured how to implement the things that you're wanting to do. And I want to encourage you to stay with yourself in this space. Tip number 8, be reflective. Be reflective and by curious. Notice, like, why was that hard for me? What can I do to make it easier? The habitual pattern for most dieters to make a mistake and then go into self-rejection and beating themselves up. Still, I want to remind you that making mistakes is never the problem, quitting is the problem. And so we want to learn how to be on a journey, right? 100 failures create success. So be with yourself. Be willing to be reflective and curious so that you can learn as you move forward. Here is tip number 9, keep it simple. Keep it simple. So often I see people, and listen, I've done this myself, we want to go from 0 to 90, right? Like we want to go on some extreme diet plan or dietary system, and we're completely overlooking the basics. So keep it simple. Ask yourself, am I drinking enough water each day that when I use the bathroom pee is clear, and including 5 to 7 servings of vegetables on my plate every single day? Have I shifted the base of my diet to real whole foods? Am I walking or moving? Am I moving my body in a way each and every day that feels good and gets my blood flowing and gets the energy moving? And I getting enough rest every single night? I really want you to write each one of those things down that I just said. These are the basics. And by creating a small game plan for myself every single day, are you doing those things consistently as a baseline? If you're not, don't add more to your plate. Start with the basics. Again, I know these aren't like the sexiest strategies that we want, but these are the things that work. So it's like slow the whole thing down and get into the habit of creating these healthy day-to-day basics. And that's where the change begins to happen. Also, I have dropped the official link of product for weight loss. Hope you enjoyed this video and thanks for watching. Take care.